Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
We sound like a creaking door. It does not sound like we're DJing
Scratching. What if I beatbox?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Don't Blame Me.
You're not even going to answer me.
What'd you say?
I said, what if I beatbox?
For like a living or as a hobby?
No,
Never
like
mind.
right
Either...
now. So then you could do your whatever you're doing. Yeah. You want to hear it?
Beatbox?
Want to hear it?
I don't know. Kind of. Go. That wasn't bad. It was not bad. I mean, I wouldn't say that I thought it was an instrument, but like, hey, it's not bad.
Yeah.
You
You
have
know, off
a
the dome.
multitude of skills. So many hidden talents. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Don't Blame Me. We are an advice podcast. I'm Megan. I'm joined by my co-host, Melissa.
Hello. In case you thought this was a hip-hop podcast.
Surprisingly, to a shock to everyone, it's been 7 seasons, and we finally have to admit to you, we're actually not a hip-hop podcast. It's come as a shock. It's a shock to everybody, but I think we'll get through this together.
I was talking to the new people.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're flooding in.
Flocking. Hi. What am I saying?
That this is, you just said it was an advice podcast.
Yes.
Tell them the number, how to do it, all that shit.
So you call in, you leave us voicemails, and then we give some fantastic, amazing advice. Our advice is perfect and wonderful and flawless because we have so many credentials, which is actually a lie. But what we lack in credentials, we make up for in opinions. It's tough love. It's how we talk to each other and our other friends. It's, we give advice and the advice we would want to receive.
Yes.
So if you want to be on an upcoming episode, you can give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We ask that you let us know your pronouns. Make sure you are 18 or over or have your parents' permission. Write it down, practice. Make sure you have all of those important details in there. And read it, practice over and over because you got to keep it under 3 minutes. Otherwise, you will be cut off. And you don't want to be cut off. And tell us your ages. I don't always need to know that you're a Taurus, but I do need to know.
Ages are very, 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 very important because what we tell someone in high school is going to be something different than when we tell somebody in their like late 20s.
Yeah. Numbers in general are important. It's like same advice. Like if we're giving advice from someone who's been in a relationship for like 5 years versus like a week and a half.
They said a relationship. Changes. That would be our first question.
I'm going to say no. Young love.
What have you been up to, Megan?
Not sleeping and rewatching every single Marvel movie in order.
Where are you doing now?
We started Ant-Man last night.
Did you watch Captain Marvel first? Where'd you put it?
So Mott's accidentally skipped Captain Marvel because he knows I don't really like Captain Marvel. So he accidentally skipped it. So we did Iron Man before Captain Marvel, but we then went back and watched Captain Marvel. I have high hopes for the second one. The thing that pisses me off more than anything is that they dangled true love and romance in front of our faces, and then they never gave it to us. And I remember sitting in the theater afterwards being like, what? I felt like I was blue-balled. I was so pissed.
I'm calling it Their Daughter because that's how I see it.
Yes.
Isn't Their Daughter in what's she in? That's out?
WandaVision.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She's stunning too.
It was so clear too. Like
when the movie ended, I wasn't even I was not even necessarily angry. I was just like, what? I was so fucking confused. And the person I was with, I was like, what? And she's like, oh yeah, no, I was like, they're in love. What the fuck? And I was just fucking pissed. But what I'm remembering now, rewatching all of them, Mons and I did, funny enough, this time last year, at the very beginning of quarantine, we rewatched all of them again, but we did it in order. Oh, you've
done this already.
Yeah. We did it in order of release date. And then we skipped a couple that we just didn't really, we skipped a couple and then we fell asleep for good chunks of them. So we have a whole new appreciation. I like it better in chronological order than I do of release. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot better this way, but it's reminding me that the Thors prior to Ragnarok are just not that great, and nothing pisses me off more than the fucking, what's her name? Natasha Romanoff, whatever her I forget what her what is
Black Widow.
Black Widow. The Black Widow fucking Bruce Banner shit. Nothing pisses me off more than that relationship that just appears and makes no sense.
Did you watch the
Hulk? No.
Oh, okay, that was my other question.
Yes. No. We did not start with those ones. Are just not.
Yeah, I mean they are, because what they talk about things that happen in that movie, so it's partially in it, but it's also not in it. So
it's not crucial to anything really in it. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing with Shield or whatever. If you wanted to watch it ties into the same universe, but it's nothing that adds anything. And I'm just remembering how much, or I'm just really looking forward to when we get into the Spider-Mans, because Spider-Man is my favorite.
How you feel about Spider-Man?
I just love it. I am sad that it doesn't work with the Andrew Garfield ones, because I love those ones.
But it's all getting tied in later, though, isn't it? The one that they're filming now, aren't they tying him in?
Yeah. No, so Tom Holland, the one that one's tied in.
But the new one, they're doing one where they're bringing all the other ones back in, what they're recording now.
Oh, really?
I think so, because they're all they're all have been announced that they're going to be in the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
That's going to be interesting, because the only reason why they weren't is because of the Fox deal.
But now Fox is in it, X-Men's coming over, and Deadpool is actually my favorite of all of them. I think that makes sense for me. But he's going to start getting kind of woven into.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I have to look that up. I'm excited. So that's been what's been occupying me, and that's what we've been doing, which is nice. It's it feels like a very... Because we didn't even realize that we're wow, this has been exactly a year since we kind of did this. And I was maybe subconsciously we're doing it because this will end. Mm-hmm. And
but I want to do that. I just haven't had the capacity to do it. But I do want to watch all of them in chronological order.
Oh, and people keep DMing me and asking me how we're doing it in chronological order. It's just Disney Plus has them all in chronological order, sorted in a list. The only thing that you have to be... You have to factor in Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's not there.
There's also just lists that you can just Google.
Yeah. But if you want one that's super seamless Disney Plus, you just have to put Spider-Man in there on your own. Oh, it's not Fox, it's Sony. My bad. Right?
Sony.
No.
Yeah.
What about you? What's new with you?
Shireen and I finished rewriting one of our, not Fuckboy, but another one, To Secrets. And I'm very excited because I think we went in a great direction. You're still, of course, in it.
Thank God.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Hell yeah. Oh, yes. I want to read it.
Yeah, that's what's new. That's about it.
That's where we're at.
Let's get into the update.
Okay, so this is we have an update from a caller who has called in previously and is now going to give us an update.
Thank you for the explanation of what the update is.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was a caller from season 6, episode 22, about my sister not paying me to watch my nephew, and me being like really frustrated with that and trying to like figure out a way to like confront her about it. Basically, it was really weird because she wouldn't be like home for like most of the day, and it would be me and my nephew from like 7 a.m. till whenever I left for like my actual full-time job.
What was she doing?
For the most part, I know she was like trying to get a job and then also running whatever errands she needed to do. Don't necessarily know why it was all day, and I don't care to ask at this point. It is what it is. But about a week or so before Thanksgiving, she accepted a job offer for a really decent company in town. So I was really excited about that. Kind of hoping that she'd slowly like start paying me again on her own without me having to bring it up at all. That did not happen. I had to wait probably about 2-3 weeks maybe after she got her job to like finally sit down with her and bring it up. And I told her how upset I was about not being paid. Like, I love hanging out with my nephew. He's the light of my life. But not getting paid to take care of somebody when my actual job, I take care of the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I still would like to get paid, you know? And so we sat down, we talked about it. She told me that she like understood where I was coming from, because prior to this new job, before she had quit her old job, she was also a CNA. So she understood like what it was like to like care for somebody else who's not in your family. So she understood where I was coming from there. And we ended up on an agreement where over the next like couple months, she would slowly start paying me like a set amount that we had figured out that was decent. And then her stepson said he wanted to start watching his brother since he was home and he wanted to make a little extra cash and he had nothing to do all day pretty much. So he started watching him. I still watch him a little bit, but I do get compensated for it. But I think now my nephew is in daycare because I think his brother ended up going back to school. But yeah, it was really nerve-wracking just trying to get the guts to sit down with her, just because she's probably one of like my best friends. So just talking like any type of confrontation,
yeah,
I was not like comfortable with, but it actually ended up going really smoothly. And yeah.
Great.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good to hear. So you didn't take our advice about blasting "bitch better have my money" the next time you drove up to her house?
No, I did think about it. I really did. I was like, that would be funny, but I don't think her neighbors would have appreciated it at like 6:30 in the morning.
Yes.
So
that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the update. If you have an update and you've called in from a previous episode, we would love to hear from you. So
yes, please send us an email. That's the fastest way to get to us for the updates.
And we promise that we're nice. So even if we like,
unless you ask us not to be.
Oh yeah. If you ask for tough love, we'll give you tough love. But
I'll play a little trick on somebody. Not just you.
You're playing a trick?
Somebody was calling in and I was trying to figure out where the noise was coming from because I didn't realize they had the window open for the podcast. And then I answered it while they were calling. And they're like, what?
Wait, that's so funny. I didn't even know. I forgot we could technically answer it.
Mm-hmm.
And that must have thrown them off so
They were.
much.
They were like, huh?
Hello?
What's going on? I was like, this is Melissa. I'm just messing with you. I'll hang up and you can call back and leave the voicemail.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Wow. So should we get into the rest of our episode?
Sure.
Get these calls?
Hey, Megan and Melissa. I hope everything is going well. I'm a 21-year-old Virgo living on the West Coast with my 21-year-old Aries roommate. So I'm just going to preface by saying that my roommate came to me about a week ago saying she needed to move back to her dad's to save money, which I totally understood. So I started apartment hunting and actually found a place and got approved, which is down where I used to live. I told her I'd be moving mid-April, but that I'd still pay April's rent so that she has time to move. Anyways, I had asked to borrow her computer to apply to apartments and job search because I don't have my own computer, and she said that was fine, so she knew the reason why I was using her computer. She has a Mac, so her text messages are hooked up to her laptop, and while I was applying for places and going back and forth with my new landlord, text messages started to pop up to her boyfriend about how she was, quote-unquote, so fucking happy to finally have me out of her life, and that it was fucked up that I was moving out so soon. Her boyfriend was calling me a bitch and other names, and honestly, I'm just super confused and hurt over the whole situation since there were really no problems between us while living together. We always had a great time together, always hung out while home. We were coworkers, and I actually was the one who hired her. I guess I'm just calling for advice because I genuinely thought she was my friend, and I don't know how to go about the situation. Am I overreacting? I still kind of want to be friends with her, and we always talked about how we'd still be friends after living together. But anyways, thanks for taking my call, and I hope both of you are doing great. It was super short and sweet, but I hope you guys can give me some good advice on how to go about this situation because I'm feeling very hurt over it. Thanks, guys.
You said that you still wanted to be friends with her after all this. You were never friends to begin with.
No, you need higher standards for friends.
Mm-hmm. It was like she was just getting things from you. Like she got a job from you. She's mad that you're moving out so soon, even though that's
she
what she
instigated
wanted.
it.
Yeah. Be done with this girl. Like Megan said, have higher standards for your friendship.
Yeah. I mean, you're not overreacting at all. I'm curious if she was at work when you were using her computer or something. Cause like, that's like, that happens when like someone, like you're on a computer, you have iMessage hooked up and like you see them. So like, was she not there and she didn't think it through? Or is like, she home and is like, I know this bitch is going to see it. Like
yeah.
I'm curious about that. But I mean, like you've got two options here. Either you have lots of options. You could just like ignore it and just pretend you never saw it and just not move on with your friendship, but just be like, okay, this person's a fucking bitch and like, we're not friends and she doesn't like me. And like, I mean, here's the two things I would either do. I would either be super fucking passive aggressive and just be like, okay, I'll be a bigger bitch than you then. Like, my shit's fine. Like, you don't have any ties to her. Like, as long as like you have it in I would get it in writing first that like you're moving out in April, like you're paying for the month of April and like blah, blah, blah. So you don't have any contracts left between you two. But what I would really do is I would just confront her and I would be like, what? Like, hey, I saw these. Like, what the fuck is your deal? Like,
see, I would just ignore all of it and just wipe my hands clean of her when I left and just be done with it. But some people, want closure. I'm not that type of person.
Yeah. But I mean, I want, like, if you don't want to talk to her about this, that your reasoning behind it should be like, I don't want to talk to her. I just want to move on and forget. But if your reasoning is like, I don't want to talk to her about this because like, I don't want to hear what she has to say because like, I want to maintain a friendship, then no. Like you
don't need to be friends with her.
No.
She has no respect for you. Also, you're still going to have to see her at work though. Hold on.
No, because she's looking for jobs.
Oh yeah. Right.
There's nothing I hate more than someone who doesn't have the fucking like doesn't have the guts to be a bitch to someone's face. Like, if you're going to be a bitch behind my back, you better be a fucking bitch to my face. And like, I stand by that. I do. Like, if I'm going to talk,
because if not, you're just a fake ass bitch.
Yeah. Like, fuck you. If you want to be a bitch, be a fucking bitch. But then like, but like, own it. Don't have this like wishy-washy, like, oh, I'm only going to be a bitch behind your back when like I only have people who are hyping me up. But like, if you don't have the confidence to be a bitch to someone who like is then potentially going to fight back or say something back or disagree with you, like you're just a fucking loser. Like, you're just such a, like, it's just so lame. And just, I hate that. I hate it. Just stand by it. We can all be a little cunty. We can all be like, whatever, any of that. But like, if you're going to say something behind someone's back and just say something completely different to their face, like, I have zero respect for you. Like, you're not even a good bitch.
Yep.
You
fake
suck
bitch.
at being
You're
a bitch.
Fake bitch.
Exactly.
Be a real ass bitch, not a fake ass bitch.
Moral of the story. Moral of the fucking story. And for everybody else, don't say something that you wouldn't say to someone's face. That doesn't mean you can't say mean shit. But would you say that mean shit to their face? I would. If I'm talking shit, like, I'll say it to your fucking face. And most likely, I already have.
Yep.
On to the next.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm calling about my boyfriend who is 22 Aquarius, his sister who is a 27-year-old Aquarius, and me who is a 22-year-old Capricorn. So I started dating my boyfriend. This was 2 years ago. I started dating him and I met his sister. She moved home for a few months after she got in a breakup and was low on money. She was okay at first, but I had a bad first impression. She just came off as very arrogant and standoffish. Because they were really close, I didn't want to say anything to him because I could tell it would be a problem because she kind of seemed to be on a pedestal in their family between him and his mom. She moved back to where she was at, and she was very arrogant about living in this place because she felt like it was better than where we're from. She came home to visit and was extremely rude and arrogant and talked down to all of us and said that we didn't talk how they do there, and she told me to shut up at one point. And then she bragged to me about going on dates with rich guys and going out and doing cocaine for free. Her mom even told her that she was being rude and told her to stop. I told my boyfriend what she was telling me about these guys and doing drugs, and he told his mom, and they both confronted her. She told them that her life was amazing there and that she didn't care and she would do what she wanted to do. And she'd been doing it since she was 18. Once she realized this excuse wasn't going to work on her mom, she said that she was really depressed and that she was having trouble with her life, which I thought was ironic after she just told me that her life was amazing, which I know people lie about. But then her mom started making up excuses for her and saying that it was just because she was missing them. So she always gets excuses given to her. I can't get over this situation and what happened because I hold grudges, and she hasn't owned up to her own mistakes, and she's always super bitchy towards me. And I feel like my boyfriend and his mother just brush her behavior to the side and let her get away with it and see no wrong. And I understand that she's an adult, but I also don't think she has the right to be rude. I feel like I'm kind of being dramatic about it. It causes problems in me and my boyfriend's relationship because we argue about how she acts, and it's hard because I do want to be friends with her, but whenever I feel like I try and reach out, I don't feel like that gets reciprocated. So if you guys have any advice on how to move past this or how to handle the situation, let me know. But I don't really want to confront her because their family doesn't really do confrontation, and I feel like it would just make it really awkward and hostile. Thank you.
I'm going to level with you. I think you care way too much. Like, you when you kind of give these parameters about like what you're not going to do and like all of that kind of stuff, like your expectations are never going to be met. Like, you don't want to be confrontational. You don't think that will work. Okay. But you also want to be friends with her. I'm going to level with you. That's not going to work. You want her to take accountability. She's not going to do that. Like, you can't control her at all. And so like, you either need to be okay with the situation at hand, or you and him need to break up so she's not in your life anymore. Like, you can't conditionally like pick and find a way that if she was just like this or she did this, I would like, it would be fine and all of that, because you have no control over that. So it sucks that it's just kind of one of those things that it's like, if you don't like her and you don't like the situation, the only thing you can change is the situation.
Right. This is a different type of bitch here. This is a mean ass bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she's
she's not gonna change. If she's not gonna change for her mother or her brother, she's not gonna change for you, who could be, temporary to the situation. So you either, like Megan said, you have to accept. I think this is pretty cut and dry. You just have to accept her for who she is, and you can't argue with your boyfriend about it because that's his sister, and you're not going to do anything to change his mind. And either leave or just deal with it.
Yeah, and like, I think we can like look at people and situations, and again, like, see what we like the best possible, like, oh, all of this, like, she just might not ever be that person. Like, you don't necessarily like need to fix her or like need her to be like a certain way or all of that, and like or like
be her friend. Yeah,
and like his mom is like okay with it, her like your boyfriend is okay with it and all of that, like they're okay and they accept her for who she is, and you don't, and that's on you. And like, she was rude to you, like that sucks. Yeah. And if you feel like your boyfriend doesn't like support you and like stick up for you and all of that, like that sucks, but that's also a character flaw on him. Like none of that is your responsibility.
But also she's not just rude to her, the caller, though. She's rude to everyone. That's just who she is.
Mm-hmm. And like some people are like that, and it can suck when like it's not your family, and so like you will kind of want a comrade in that to be like, oh my god, she fucking sucks, and like, but they can also think she sucks, but like in a familial way that they deal with it because that's who she is.
That's who she is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you either have to accept it because that's who she is or not, and yeah. I don't think you're overreacting or anything. I just think that like you care way too much about...
You're trying to change who she is.
And I think probably what's driving you more crazy is you care so much. And I don't mean this in a mean way. She doesn't give a shit. Like you're caring so much about her and like investing all of this, and she's not giving two shits, which is even more frustrating. But if you can't just like let her be and like let her do her and just be fine with it, then you need to be done with this relationship because you're the odd one out.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it sucks, but she sounds a little wild.
She sounds like somebody that I would like to just like hang out with for the stories, but never actually go anywhere with her.
She sounds like I know this type. Also, like that she just loves her life doing cocaine for free, and I
was like, oh, so people do it for
I was about to be like, that's fine. I was even thinking of, I'm like, I've never done coke, but I'm like, I've done other drugs, but I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't think I've ever paid for drugs in my life. Like, that's like the one great thing about the patriarchy. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, of course you're doing it for free. That's not a flex, dude.
The fact that she's sharing it with people is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But I know that person. That's when I first moved to LA. I'd never like seen coke before, but I would be out with like a friend that I knew from work. And then her friends were like coke heads, and we'd be out and they'd just be like walking around just asking people if they had coke. And I was just like, oh, this is how things are done here? Okay, cool.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
I remember what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Well, I have a pro tip for people that live by themselves and they're tired of cooking.
Takeout?
Well, yes, but I was doing like my meal delivery service, and then they fucked up my whole entire order for this week, and I was pissed. Like they sent me 5 breakfasts, and 3 of which I did not order, and then nothing else. Like I was supposed to have 15 other meals and nothing else. And it was supposed to come on Sunday, and then they like pushed it. It's coming on Monday, and then Monday I got that shitty thing. So then And it's not the one that was in the cute glass jars.
Yeah,
not that one.
I would never think that.
No, they would never.
They would never.
So then I was just like pissed because I was hungry, and I was like, you know what? I ordered family meals, like from Tender Greens, 2 family meals that had like 4 and they separated all out. So it had like 4 big pieces of meat. Even the steaks were huge. I got chicken and steak. And then you can pick and choose like what vegetables and sides that you want. So then like I've had different mixes of the sides every week. It's brilliant. And it's less than what it would have been with the meal delivery because it like equals out to like $9 per meal.
That's genius.
Yes.
Should we get into the rest of the episode?
Why not?
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm a 23-year-old Aries and an Enneagram 9, wing 1, and I'm calling for some sex advice today. My boyfriend is a 23-year-old Libra and an Enneagram 3, and we've been dating for about 7 months. First off, he's my first everything, my first boyfriend, first kiss, first time having sex, first basically everything. And we have great sex, so that's not the issue. I mean, I guess I have nothing to compare it to, but I have a great time no matter what. But I need advice on 2 things. At the beginning of our relationship, we both still lived at our parents' houses, so it was difficult to have sex and be alone. So we would often drive to an empty parking lot late at night or have car sex. At first, it was hard, but we got the hang of it, and we both always were able to finish, and it was great. Well, now, recently, he just bought a house, which is great, and I'm so happy for him. And I've been sleeping over there a lot, and we have sex almost every night or morning. And the sex is great, don't get me wrong, but I think I just got so used to car sex that I'm not as turned on when we do it in the bedroom. I don't know if it's something about the quote-unquote danger of being caught having car sex that really turned me on. And I obviously don't want to go back to having car sex now that we have an actual place to have sex, because the car was usually very cramped and it could be uncomfortable at times. So just any advice on how I could be more turned on in the bedroom would be great. What can I do there? And then the second issue that I'm having is that I know that my boyfriend really, really wants me to suck his dick. But obviously I don't have much experience, and the thought of it makes me very uncomfortable. I also have a really bad gag reflex, and I'm terrified of gagging or even throwing up. And I've tried going down on him a few times, but I always start gagging and have to stop. It's not only how far it goes back down my throat, but also the flavor, I guess you could say, bothers me, and the idea of having cum in my mouth. He's a very hygienic person, and he showers like 1 or 2 times a day sometimes, so that's not the issue. And he goes down on me all the time, so I would love it if I could return the favor. But it's very hard for me. I also want to say that he never pressures me or makes me feel bad, but he'll ask if I want a 69 or go down on him, and I always say no, and he just looks really defeated. I asked him if it bothered him once, and he said no, it just makes him a little self-conscious. So any advice, too, on that would be great. Thank you so much. Love you guys and the podcast.
While this is fresh on my mind, just going to say, asking for a blowjob and then looking disappointed is manipulative. That's not like not pressuring you. Like that in itself, that's not, if Mott's ever was like, hey, would you suck my dick? I'd be like, like,
it's something that some people do like a little,
but that's in
assertiveness, but like,
if that's something you're not comfortable doing this and then just asking you and then looking disappointed, like this is something that should be 100% on your terms.
Yeah.
Not any sort of even request from him. Let's just address the second part just to start, because we already started on this.
I'm wondering, like, is the taste and flavor, have you ever sucked his dick before? Is this something that
she tried, she said.
Okay, but yeah.
I think
I didn't know if her trying was like, she just like, like kind of put it in her mouth, and then is the taste or whatever, is that like what you're expecting, or is it something you actually tasted?
Well, she said that she's tried a couple times and she just ends up gagging. And I think that like, it doesn't sound like it's a cleanliness issue. It sounds like it sicks you out. And like, even if there's like, no matter how clean a dick tastes, like it's not necessarily like licking an elbow.
It's not appetizing.
No, and it's also like the skin, like
you can't lick the elbow then.
Or like your arm or whatever. Like there's like lots of folds of skin. There's like lots of like wrinkly things. Like some parts are very smooth. Like it isn't necessarily like, it's not like, oh, it's just like this. Like it is odd. And if it grosses you out and like it makes you like gag to the point, like don't.
It should be something that you enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy doing it, then don't do it.
No, and this isn't like, if you have a bad gag reflex and it grosses you out, like that's not an origin story of like the blowjob heroine. Like,
does he want you to throw up on his dick? Because that's what it sounds like it's going for.
And just that's not, like you said, like that's not going to make for like like we've said before, like love giving head because like we're good at it and like that part of it. But like if in getting great at it and all of that, like I didn't have to overcome a really sensitive gag reflex like at all. Like there are some just like, biological things that you either have working in your favor or you don't. And like working through that is just not like, there are those like little tips where they say like, oh, you hold your hand in a fist and like hold your thumb and like squeeze that, which like that can help, but that's like your deep throat and like, and you know what I mean? Like that's like this is like a party trick for this moment, but it's not like, I don't need, like, that's not going to like get rid of your gag reflex at all. And I just think that like beyond your gag reflex, it's something that sicks you out. And like, you're not like, just the idea of it too, just like makes you really uncomfortable, and that's okay. And blowjobs just like aren't for you. And like, that's fine. And like maybe a couple years down the road, you'll be like, you know what? I'm not so sicked out by this. Like, I want to try this again. Or you might not ever be. And like, you just like, it's okay to not do that. And just because he goes down on you, like, does not mean that you have to
go down him.
No. And if it's a deal breaker for him, then like that needs to be respected by both parties. And like, if he then withholds going down on you because you're not going to go down on him, if you're not getting like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, if you're not comfortable going down on me, then dude, like, okay, then cool. Then we'll both do that. But it has to be a conversation. It can't be just this tit for tat sort of thing. And yeah. Also,
if you wanted to 69, you could do like hand stuff with him. It doesn't have to be mouth.
Yeah. You get some like lube and get it like real wet with that.
Wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if like you might be into just like licking. That could be something. There's other things you can play with his balls. Like there's other things that can be done if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, but you don't have to at all.
Get a pocket pussy.
But so the second part was like sex drive up from not having sex in the car. I've never heard this. Makes sense to me. Like
it does make
explained
sense.
It
like it's exciting.
At first I was like, what? Like
because first of all, you're running away because you want to have sex, so you're like leaving where you are to go have sex. So like there's already a buildup for it. Once you get there, you're like, I gotta be, sneaky, a little, windows might fog up. There's excitement around that. I would say go do it in the backyard.
Yours makes so much more sense than mine. My advice, I'm like, just film yourself. Like
that too. Like there's other things that you can like. There's things that can heighten the excitement. I like the film. I like that too.
Yeah.
And then you could go in the car sometimes.
Or like if you've got like, I mean, obviously don't turn your car on if there's a garage. Don't want carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've got a garage, have sex in the car there. Or like, I think exactly like you're saying, like there's like, it's simultaneously like spontaneous, yet also a ton of buildup to it because like, it's like hot and passionate. And like that normally is used with like spontaneous sex that it's like, oh my God, all of these things really fast. But like it is kind of like planned, but in like this is our opportune moment. Like we only have this much time or whatever. So having sex like that and taking that kind of mindset to like something else, like sending him like a nude or like a hot picture or whatever, and being like, I like give that same kind of build up in other ways. Maybe have sex in front of like a mirror, like have sex in like the living room, like something like that, like in those kinds of ways, or like even like super like have sex in front of a window, like that kind of stuff.
Just things that like
legally. Things that are legal.
You don't want to like have it like in front of a window and like your neighbor's like kid is looking over.
No. Like, you know, a small window.
Yeah.
But
have the blinds open, but not like slanted open, but not pulled up.
Mm-hmm. Finding like those kinds of things to like heighten it and make it be like, oh, we might get caught, blah, 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 blah.
A little voyeuristic.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's hot.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a hand down his pants when you're like, I don't know, you're driving.
When you're driving? Yeah.
Not him. When you're driving.
Yeah.
Or a Tesla. You know, like not going to encourage roadhead or anything like that, but.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. On today's segment of Am I an Asshole? I'm a 25-year-old Aquarius, and my boyfriend is 24, turning 25, Leo. We have been together for 5 years, and last June, I wound up moving out of my parents' house, but on my own. Basically, after working from home for so long, alongside my dad and brother, who are also working from home, it just kind of expedited my need to get out. I moved 30 minutes from home, but only 10 minutes from work, because at the time, that was just the smartest and cheapest thing to do. In May, though, my boyfriend and I found a place, this upcoming May, found a place in the middle of our two jobs, and we're super excited to be moving in together. However, when I moved out, since it was on my own, everything I needed furniture-wise, I paid for myself. Bed, coffee table, little appliances, towels, cookware, you name it. He's purchased some stuff for me, like a TV, a nightstand I wanted, but the question is, anything else that we need for this new apartment, I feel like I shouldn't be paying for most of it. Like he has, I don't know, like we need a new couch, he wants a new TV, things like we need a window AC unit, stuff like that. But because I poured out so much money of my own for my own place to get these things that we need, I feel like anything else we need shouldn't be my expense. I would just love advice as to if this is unfair of me to think. Obviously, I plan on bringing it up to him, but I would just like some third-party opinions before I bring that up to know if it's like unwarranted or anything. Thank you guys so much. I love the podcast. It's why I look forward to Mondays so much. And I hope you guys are staying safe. Thanks so much. Bye.
This is interesting.
Do you want my thoughts as someone who's never lived with someone?
Yeah.
I think when you move in with someone, it becomes our place, and anything new that you buy should be a shared expense. But I have never lived with anyone.
I mean, so this is layered as someone who like lives with their partner. This is really layered. And so if there's something that like he wants to upgrade, that you like what you have and he wants to upgrade it, that's his, I personally think, and how Mats and I've done it, like that's the individual's own expense. Mm-hmm. So if he wants to upgrade the TV, that's on him.
If you have like a queen bed and he wants a king, then that's on him.
Yeah. But if there are things that like, I completely understand being like, oh, okay, I've covered X amount of money for this. The issue is did you guys have this conversation beforehand of like, I'm buying all of this stuff for my apartment as I'm moving out now solo, which I'm buying it for us. So like, did he have a say in anything? Like, did he get to contribute to like the look and like the style of like that kind of stuff? And if he wasn't involved in the choosing kind of process, then you're just bringing your own stuff to a place that you shared. And it won't feel like his stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like if he doesn't like it and he like would want something different or anything, I think if you didn't have a conversation beforehand about like, okay, well, if I'm buying all of this stuff for my new apartment, so like when we move in together, like you'll buy the rest of the stuff that like we need for that place. I think like if he was like, well, that doesn't really seem fair to me because like I didn't know that that's what you were doing. And if that was the case, I wouldn't I wouldn't have wanted to get this couch or to get this kind of coffee table or whatever there is to it. Especially if there's like stuff from your place that's you're not necessarily going to use in the new place. If there's like, oh, this bookshelf won't work here, or this won't work here, or something. But at the same time, like, I think like financially, like that does it to come. I think it also kind of like makes sense that it's like, oh, you bought this and you contributed money to like this thing that is like shared and that we're using and that like I like and like it feels just as much mine as it is yours. So like I'll pay for this next thing to kind of do that. But I don't think it can be a blanket statement. I think it has to be like item to item, thing to thing, like upgrading that should be on him. But if there are certain things that like you bought for your place that you liked and he really doesn't like it, and like it's something that's like not his style or something that he didn't feel like involved in the process of that at all, I think it's completely fair for him to be like, can we split the cost of this? Because if you're asking him to like factor in your factor you in now when buying kind of stuff, you needed to have factored him in prior when you bought stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, I get that. I think it's valid and like that would be something that you want, but I don't think it's that simple, you know, especially depending on how much like things cost and that stuff. And also like having like open conversations. I think it's great. You're going to talk to him about it. Having open conversations about money when you live with someone is really important. And you need to be on the same page of what kind of people you are financially, because some couples who live together are really tit for tat. And it's like, hey, I spent $55 on this. You're going to spend $55 on this, like blah, blah, blah. And then some couples, which is Mott's and I are the latter, where it's like, you got groceries this time, I'll get groceries next time. Take my car. Like ours is like, it kind of just, we know it will always even out. And so that's just how it is. Or like he got a promotion during the pandemic and like I didn't have as much work at all. So it was like, I'll cover groceries for the next couple months and then blah, 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 blah. So like you have to figure out what kind of people you are with that. But yeah, also I'm curious I get like the AC unit and those kinds of things. But I also think like if some of the furniture and things you've bought are like not necessary and not things that he would have spent money on, like, oh, I bought this like coffee table book, or I bought this like these decor things to go on these shelves, or I bought these like pictures or whatever. If there are things that like he wouldn't have spent money on, I could understand him getting frustrated that you're not going to spend money on something that you actually both need, which is like an AC unit, you know, where it's like for him, he's like, I would have, if I had X amount of money to like contribute to furnishing this place, I would not have spent as much as you did on these other things. So it's a tough spot, but also, yeah, it just is. And it's also, I would say, if you don't like, if he wants to upgrade something or you don't, if not even that, but if he doesn't like something that you bought or whatever, I would also just like sell it, make money from that, and then use that money. You get the money when you sell something that you owned and use that money to kind of contribute. You know? Yeah,
but like you guys need to have a conversation about finances, period, before you even, well, you've already thought about moving together, but before you move in together, you need to have a conversation about everything financial.
It's rough. It definitely is rough. It's super awkward too. It takes a while to feel like comfortable. I felt so awkward talking to Mott's about finance. Like I felt so awkward at first. I was like, and now I'm like, you owe me money.
Bitch better have my money.
Bitch better have my money. No, he doesn't.
Theme of this episode.
Should always be the theme of the episode.
There's a lot of bitches in this episode.
Good bitches, bad bitches, fake bitches, crazy bitches. We need to reclaim the word bitch. I mean, I think we have. I think the world needs to catch up with us. This is Don't Blame Them. This is where a listener calls in and gives their own advice on a call we played on a previous episode.
So this was from season 6, episode 17, where the caller's giving advice on a caller who is getting married and moving in at 20.
Hi, guys. I am calling in as a Don't Blame Them for season 6, episode 17, I think it is. The girl who is 20 years old and is about to get married and move in with her long-distance boyfriend all at the same time. Not that I disagree with your advice necessarily, but I do have some experience with this. I'm a bit older. I'm 27, but I've also been in a relationship that has mostly been long-distance for, 4 or 5 years. And we experienced what, you're scared of, caller, with quarantine and lockdown. His job didn't require him to be in a different state during lockdown. And I was really scared at first, thinking, oh my God, we're not going to like each other after this. It's going to be horrible. We're going to fight. And it actually ended up being the best time of our relationship. I will warn you that you're going to have the honeymoon phase at first of, wow, I can't believe I get to see you, wake up to you, and all of it's going to seem perfect, and you're not going to want to go anywhere or do anything with anyone else. So my advice is to set yourself a time limit, like a month or 6 weeks, that, you can stay in that honeymoon phase, just the two of you in your little cocoon. But then set a date that both of you have to go out with each of your friends, or hang out with one of your families alone, or, start to do things outside of just with each other. It'll help a lot. And just don't be scared of setting boundaries and being honest with your partner and saying, I'm a little sick of you right now and I don't want to be, so I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to take a trip here with this friend. It'll be really, really cool, especially since you've been long distance, to miss each other and to be able to come home to each other at the end of the day. There's really nothing like it after long distance, and just try to enjoy it as much as possible and not take the little fights too seriously, because you've been waiting for this and it's exciting and you love each other. So that's my advice. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for your input. I don't mean that. I sound cunty. I'm not trying to sound cunty. I have nothing to add.
Yeah. Also, like we had talked about, because they were like the person that calls is older, but the original caller was like 20.
Yeah.
So they hadn't had like a lot of life experience and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, I think that's why we always say age, because age that plays a completely different role in the advice that we give and all of that stuff. But don't lie about your age.
And you won't get the advice that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, caller, for sharing your experience.
Yes, thank you. And that is it for our episode. Thank you all so much for watching, listening. If you listened and you were like, I don't want to listen to ads, go to Stitcher Premium, get ad free, and you don't have to listen to ads. If you were like, oh gosh, I wish I could see their facial expressions, Patreon. It's $1 a month to watch the video version of the podcast. You can see this beautiful face Melissa's making now. You can see how great her hair looks today. All of that. You can see her Pixar light in the background. It's a good time. You can see absolutely nothing in my background.
There's a curtain.
There is.
A sheer curtain.
And for $5 a month, we do 2 live streams, which are literally like Zooms, us all hanging out. It's fun. We do themed ones. We do unthemed ones. It's a great time, and it helps us support the show. And leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. Follow the podcast on Instagram, Don't Blame Me Pod. Follow our individual socials listed in the description. And if you want to call in to be featured on an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Again, let us know your pronouns. Make sure you're 18 or over, have your parents' permission. Write it down. Practice. Keep it under 3 minutes with as much detail as possible. And if you have an update, send us an email. We would love to talk to you.
Please.
Is there anything else?
What would you like to promote?
I mean, I always say buy my presets, buy my book. Follow me on Instagram.
That's what you always say to me. So that's what I said to you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I have nothing. I don't think I have anything else to promote.
Yeah, me. Follow me on Instagram. That's all I'm promoting right now. Follow me on Instagram.
This episode is sponsored by Melissa's Instagram.
She is not. Somebody tried to hack in mine yesterday.
What?
Yep. I got the little code. They're like,
and you were like, she is not Melissa.
Yes, she is not Melissa. I got an email from Instagram saying, we see you're having trouble getting into your account.
What?
Reset my password.
Sneaky, sneaky. Well, hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Stay sexy and don't get pregnant unless you want to.
Goodbye.
Bye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast, and with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.